Alright everyone, just got in a package today. It's going to be a Christmas present that I ordered for my daughters. Should be a Usmile 250 quad that I'm going to build for them for their Christmas present. So, figure while I'm doing it, I will also do an unpackaging and review. Let's see. Usmile 3K carbon fiber 250 quadcopter. Looks like it's got some directions in there. Also bought some RGX hobby beepers. Put it on there just in case they lose it. We can hit the button and try to listen for it and find it. So you got the base plate. That's actually the PDB. Pretty nice. Pretty simple looking. You got some hardwares and screws, screw kits, standoff kit, the upper plate, some more hardware, the arms. Let's see, arms are, so you can see that, but it's 4 millimeters thick. Top plate 2 millimeters thick, and side plates just a little manual on it showing the layout, and pictorial showing you how to put it together, which is nice because most frames that you get don't come with any diagrams. You just have to figure it out, or go online, Google a picture of someone else that actually got it put together right, or maybe not right, and try to duplicate what they did. So I'm going to put it together and do a quick mock-up just to see what the frame looks like together on hand. So let's see what that does. Okay, so after a few minutes of playing around with it, this is just kind of a quick mock-up, no screws, no standoffs or nothing like that. Just kind of get an idea of what the frame is going to look like. Alright, so looking at the baggies here, this is the screws and the standoffs for the bottom plate and top plate for the lower section. This is going to be the legs to help stand the frame off the ground, the landing gear, more or less, I guess you could say. And then this bag here is for the taller section, the third section of frame, where the camera is going to actually go into. After playing around looking at it, I found something I wasn't too impressed with. Is going to be the bottom plate. There is no holes to mount your flight controller. No place to put standoffs or anything. I'm assuming you must have to sticky side tape it down. I personally don't like to do that. So I'm going to spend a little time and look at the traces on the board and see if I can line a flight controller up on here where I want. Drill me some holes, put some plastic standoffs and plastic screws through it to keep from anything from shorting out, but not affect the circuitry on the PDB. That's that's a pretty big fail right there, not to make holes to mount your flight controller and just assume you want a double-sided tape. And the other big fail I see is it's designed and set up for a board camera, which I want to use in a HS1177 style camera, which is really no big deal because I do have the mount for it. There again, there is no holes. There's no holes to actually mount this, so where the plate would normally go for the board camera, I guess I'll line the holes up there, put me some screws through that and bolts and nuts, and hold that in place to hold the camera in here. But that's what I found so far. The side plates, I'm gonna have some programmable LEDs mounted on the side here on both sides of it. Give it a little light, make it look cool. That's about it. Nothing functional. And then I'll be mounting one of my new RGX hobby beepers to it, and we're going to actually kill off my my 3-inch quad. It has a broken plate. This is a discontinued model, or not discontinued, just a one-off model. I could probably send this off and have the top plate custom made, but I think I'll just throw it to the wind, and I'm gonna use the HGRC F3 all-in-one stack on this build, along with the these are the Emax Bullet 30 amp ESCs. So I will transfer these electronics over to this frame here. Okay, so for this build, we're going to be using some Cobra motors that I got from Team Black Sheep that they had on clearance a while back. Got them really cheap. I can't remember. I want they were $5 a piece or so. But it's the CM 1806 2450 kV motors. As far as my daughter's flying it, they'll be flying it on 3S to start with, just to let them get the hang of it, get used to it. But once it's assembled and done and I'm ready to maiden it, I will be maiden it on 4S, just to make sure everything goes according to plan. Okay, so after some measurements, I finally got out and went and drilled my holes that I needed to be able to put the flight controller on, because I really don't want to double side tape it. It looks offset, but that's for a reason. It's because I got the connector here on the side. This isn't the actual board I'll be using, but it's the same one. This is a burn up board, but just for reference, this is how it'll go on, and then you'll have 2 side plates. I've got some LEDs that I'll be mounting on the side plates, programmable LEDs. So maybe do some kind of little trick, little light show with it or something like that. Make it look cool, easier to see visibly. So now it's time to start getting to building. Okay, so we got the flight controller mounted. If all works good, side plate on it. I have easy access to get to my USB port. That's going to throw a kink in my plan as far as putting my LEDs down the sides, but I'll have to figure something out. Hopefully I can get something to work out. Maybe I can get it up high enough to the top side that I can still get the USB port to connect underneath the bottom side. So now it's time to start assembling the rest of the frame, getting the arms and the ESCs and motors in place. Alright, well, found another problem. Trying to mount the motors on the arms. The actual holes are wide on the outside, but taper off and get smaller to the inside, so it's not allowing any of my holes to line up properly to get the screws to go in. So I'm gonna have to get a Dremel and dremel it out the rest of the way and make it the same size, or a drill bit, and Either way it goes, another flaw in the design of this frame, but I'll just have to deal with it and wallow it out and make my screws fit in there. Okay, after a little time of drilling, wallowing the holes out, I actually got all the motors are mounted, ready to go. So now we'll start mounting the arms on the quad and get ready to hook up some ESCs and get it connected to the flight controller. Okay, so I got the arms mounted, starting to take shape, look like a quad. Really not a big fan of only the two mounts on each arm. A third hole would be a lot nicer, probably make it a lot sturdier. Besides, it's really thin around each of the corners of it. I'm kind of concerned that if it takes any kind of hard hit to the ground or a gate or a tree or a pole or something like that, these arms are probably going to snap off right underneath them standoffs there. But for a beginner quad for my daughters, it should do fine. The whole purpose earlier when I showed y'all with the offset was I was calculating in that once this top plate is mounted on in place, we'll be able to see the display for the VTX also through this hole here, as well as once the side plates are in, having access to the USB port and the switches to turn the VTX on, off, and change the channels will all be fairly easy and accessible. So I'll try to get these ESCs tied in rather than mount them on the arms, because I got so much wire here. I'm probably going to try to see if I can fit them inside the fuselage here, have it hidden so it's just the wires on the arms and give it a nice clean look to it. But that's my next step. See you in just a second. Alright, so we got our flight controller mount, ESCs mounted, arms on, motors on. Looking pretty good so far. It's gonna be my wires from my camera. I'm gonna get those redone, but coming out pretty good. I'm impressed with it. It's gonna be nice, clean cut, low profile. The sides will be in here. All that'll be covered and hidden up. So now it's time to wire up the buzzer. Redo my camera wires on here. Get my XT60 connector hooked up, and then my power run to my flight controller, and then pretty much start finishing it up. Alright, so we got our ESCs wired up, our arms on, our motors on, the XTC connector. I've already tested and verified, but our ESCs chime up. Let's see, our top's going to sit on here like so. We have a top plate right here to protect the camera. So it's going to be a pretty nice looking little setup. You get the flight controller powered up and on and working, and then go in BO Heli, check our motor directions. Alright, so here it is. It's fully assembled. I actually brought it outside and did a quick little maiden. Did a couple flips, couple rolls, had a little glitch, and it hit the ground from probably about 8 foot up. Just basically a light drop, wasn't even a hard hit to the ground. And as I suspected, the arms with only 2 holes on it are weak, as well as the standoffs. You can see it right there. That standoff completely broke in half on it. Even with them as tight as you can possibly put them, you can see the arms still flex and move, and they will actually flex in enough to the point that the blades will actually rub on each other. Now, this is 6-inch props, so 5-inch props you wouldn't have a problem, but if you want to use this for any type of long range system, 6-inch props, you have to be careful that those don't rub. Overall, it's a decent frame for 20 bucks. I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner flyer because, like I said, any kind of significant crash and it would be pretty much totaled out. But somebody wanting to get into a long range system, this will probably be really good because it's very, very light. I need to get on the scale and weigh it, but it's actually lighter than my some of my 5-inch quads. I was impressed of how lightweight it is. I got all the electronics in there mounted, the buzzer's going. Actually have it where it lines up with this hole so I can actually see my VTX output display. Nice access to get to the USB port. So it's good. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner build. Somebody's experienced could probably have some fun with it. So anyway, that's my review of the Usmile 250mm quad. Hope it's of some use, benefits you, gives you some knowledge of what you want to get into if you buy it. But hope you enjoyed this video.